won the war against them, I think.
You
or
know,
whenever.
we were getting muskets from Europeans, and Europeans were selling them at times with licenses and other times illegally to native people for profit.
Wow.
And this is a Type 2 Dutch trade gun. This is one that would have been around here in the 1640s, 1650s. It's an early internal lock, flintlock. But it would have been one that would have been a common Dutch trade gun of the period.
It's amazing. And that's another one, right?
Yep, this is a later gun. So by the 1690s, 1680s, the firearms, of course, change. And they change a lot faster here in the Americas than in Europe. In Europe, people are using matchlocks almost into the middle 1600s, and then they switch over to flintlocks almost by the end of the 1600s. We're here in the Americas, flintlocks literally disappear by the 1640s, like they're gone. Just because they don't work well in this environment, and they were not useful. So the dog lock, how this functions, and the dog locks go all the way back into the 1590s, 1620s. 1590s, these were really expensive. By the 1620s, still expensive, but only really found in like Dutch, French context, people who were really next level in their firearms technology. The English really used dog locks a lot. This is an English style dog lock gun. And the English will maintain using dog locks from the 1670s through to the 1750s. How this works is that this dog moves the hammer, the cock, into the safety position. So when you go into the firing position, this pulls forward, the dog releases, and you're ready to fire. What makes this gun different from this one, there's no dog.
No safety.
So no, there is a safety, but it's all internal. I don't have to move anything. It all is happening inside. So all of the action to put this into safety and to full cock is all internal. There's no external mechanism. So it's faster to load.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And they were using the copper and the thing.
Brass kettles.
The
brass kettles.
How did they find these metals?
They're getting from Europeans. Europeans are bringing these aboard ship.
So they didn't take it from the ground,
No,
basically.
there's in America's weird. So in Europe, you have the luxury of just tin and copper and all these metals just on top of the ground.
Right.
Like the Bronze Age is so cool that human beings figured out how to do this.
How to melt it and all,
We only had copper here. So we were a copper culture people that really ends around the 1500s. And because American copper is like 99.999% pure, it's very soft.
Yeah.
And you can beat it with stones and mold it into shapes and different things. And you see arrowheads, spear points, bracelets made from copper. But we had no brass, we had no iron, we had none of that. It was unknown till Europeans brought it here. And so they're bringing these kettles. The early kettles are rather big, like this one. They're about this size, larger. And the kettles, Europeans are cooking with them. And we're at first try to cook with them. It makes our food taste weird because we're a ceramics culture. All of our cooking vessels.
How they clean it?
You're using hot water. You're just using hot water and sand. But we were a ceramics culture, so we were using clay pots to do all our cooking. So eating out of brass containers tasted weird. It made our food taste bad. And so what we would do is we would cut these kettles up and make things out of them. So we would take the metal and roll it and make things like these cones that we could use to decorate knife sheaths, that we could use to decorate moccasins or clothing, rolling larger cones to make arrowheads, cutting those kettle bottoms into flat shapes, and cutting triangular shapes to just make arrowheads out of brass and making them out of brass sheet. Which you can just take a whole kettle bottom and make 20 or 25 arrowheads in a sitting and just have to cut them all out. But also utilizing the brass to make things for pieces for earrings and other different forms of ornamentation.
And for the knives and all that, how they, again, it's from
Europe.
All
of these things are coming from Europe.
And before that,
you're using stone. You're chipping.
Their weapons was stones.
You're using your knives are going to be made with stone blades or bone blades. Bone can be sharpened up to an angle that's very, very sharp. But stone chipped from flints and cherts are being used for your cutting implements.
Amazing. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
you're welcome.
God bless you.
Ukrainsky?
Huh?
Ukrainsky?
No, Syrian.
Syrian. My father's Syrian.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the last name?
They were Jews who left.
That's okay.
They were Ravich is our last name, but it's but that surname would be
Where?
Fe'elbin.
Fe'elbin?
Which became Felbin here.
Fe'elbin means in two hearts. Fe'elbin.
Yeah.
What city?
I don't know what city, so they
Was it-
probably lived there in the 17 or 1800s and then went
Was
to
it
Ukraine.
Damascus? Because they were in three cities: Damascus, Aleppo, and Kamshli.
Yeah, that
They were
I
big
don't
Jewish.
might have been Damascus. I'm